So I got cut off. So I would go over to the church building on campus. I would change my clothes in the bathroom there. I would put on my shoes. I would stash my backpack and my lunchbox and everything else in a little cubby there. That was a safe place to keep things. And I would just stall as much as possible. I hated it. And then I would go like, half a mile or something and feel like I wanted to puke while my husband's running like, an easy 8-mile jog, and he's loving it, and he's enjoying it, he's got his earbuds in, he's like totally into it. I hated it. And then after my first baby, we bought a jogging stroller. It was a fancy $500 jogging stroller because we knew we'd eventually have 2 kids. So I got this double jogger. It's called Bob Dooley. I loved it. Loved the stroller. It was great. I'd take my dog with me. We'd go running in the cotton fields in the middle of nowhere, Arizona. It should have been fun, right? Except that I hate running. A couple of years later, I had a friend who wanted to lose weight. So the 2 of us loaded up our double joggers with our 2 babies each. We went to the park and we started doing the couch to 5K routines, and I hated it. And then we moved to Flagstaff after middle school after my 4th baby was born. I gave up entirely after the 3rd baby was born with the running because they didn't fit in my jogger anymore, right? So I had an excuse to quit. And that's when I started using Beachbody programs, and I liked them a lot. But then we got here and I wanted to challenge myself, and I thought, okay, we're at higher elevation. And that was when Beachbody On Demand was just a new idea, and I had used all the DVD sets we had, so I was like, I'll give this a try, and if I don't like it, I'll try something else. And so I got back, got my dually out again, and when my husband was home, I'd leave the older kids with him, and I'd take the baby with me, and she would scream bloody murder the whole time, and it was high elevation, and so I couldn't breathe, and I was trying hard to admire the chipmunks and the wildflowers, and I just hated it. But I kept trying to make the running work, and I hated it, and it was not matching who I am. But you know what would happen then? Core de Force was released. And that is my jam. I love it. I could do Core de Force all day long until I feel like I'm gonna puke, and I would push even more, because that is exactly what gets me going. The MMA, I would pretend like I was actually fighting somebody, like it was life or death, and I would get so into it. I have never had such an amazing transformation as I did with Core de Force when it was first released 2 Novembers ago. It was awesome, but it's because it resonated with me. It matched my style, my personality, who I am. I was getting up at 4 a.m. to do Core de Force. It was great, and I would never have done that for running. So if your method that you're using is not matching who you are, then that's okay, and you can be honest with yourself and find something else. And the last question is it time to quit? This one's hard, because perfectionism, with a capital P, this enemy we've been talking about all summer, will lie to you and tell you that winners don't quit. But one of my favorite things that Darren Hardy says, he's a different writer, author, editor of Success Magazine, and like multimillionaire. One thing that he always points out is that real successful people, they quit all the time. Because you're taking so many chances, you're trying out so many things, you're attempting new things and seeing if it fits you. And if it doesn't, you quit. Cut your losses. Just give it up. There is no shame in choosing to quit or change your goals or change your method or change your process or change your infrastructure or just do a complete 180 and try something else. Winners quit more often, I think, than quitters do, because winners aren't afraid to try something new. So if your method isn't working for you, then maybe it's time to quit. If your goal isn't working for you, maybe it's time to jump ship and pick a different goal. Maybe it's not. Maybe your limiting beliefs are the things that are holding you back. Maybe it's something else entirely, but maybe it is time to quit. And that's up to you. You got to figure that out. That's the 4th question, to figure out what your secret rules are. Once you identify them, then you need to kill them. Kill the cuckoo bird in your nest, because the cuckoo bird is going to kill all of your goals, all of your dreams, all of your momentum, all of your drive. You need to get rid of it. But in order to get rid of it, you have to have a fallback. And that's why you replace whatever the limiting belief is, or the secret rule is, or the baggage is, with something else that's healthier and more useful to you. So one of Hal Elrod's examples was, one of his limiting beliefs or secret rules was that success is bad. He was raised in a very religious household. His dad was a minister, so wealth and prosperity was unwritten as a bad thing. One limiting belief I grew up with, that I was raised with, was that the only real jobs worth having are in the medical field. My dad's a chiropractor, a medical doctor, and now he's actually a licensed brain surgeon. Really weird, but he's also very judgmental. And I love my dad, but he has his quirks, and I will be the first to admit he messed some things up in my head. And as I was choosing what college to go to and what major to choose, if it was not in medicine, it was not acceptable. And then I started taking the classes and realized I have no desire to go into medicine. I didn't want to do anything that I thought I wanted to do as I was growing up, or that I pretended like I wanted to do. I just wanted to be a mom. That's all I've ever really wanted to do, but that was not okay when I was growing up. That was like taboo, just be a stay-at-home mom. Even though my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she always had a job at the same time. So like being just a mom was not good enough. And that's something I've had to deal with. I did have to deal with a lot as when I was a newlywed going to college, because I was like, well, I'm going to college. Am I ever going to use my degree? The answer is I have never used my degree. I have it, but I've never used it. And I've had to move past that. So whatever your beliefs are, you need to flip them around. And here's the process for doing it. So you're gonna take a piece of paper, you're gonna fold it in thirds, and you're gonna make 3 columns. The first column is, what is your secret rule? The second one is, what does that mean? And the third one is, who says? So here are a couple of my examples. One of my secret rules is that I can't start anything unless my husband's on board. And, under some circumstances, that's true. Like, we have to be financially in the same place and make sure it fits within our priorities and things like that. But I mean, even little things like I can't, do a fun project or something unless we're doing it together, unless he's doing something at the same time or we're working on it together. Because for so long he's been burnt out, and I feel like if I am having fun, then it's not fair to him, right? So that's my secret rule. And then what does that mean? Now, this is the fun part. So you take your secret rule and you expand it. You do like the opposite of it and make it sound as crazy as possible. So with going back to Hal Elrod's example of his client who thought that being skinny was immodest. Okay, well then if being skinny is immodest and slutty and whatever else, then the opposite is that being overweight, being obese is good. And it's actually the better, that's like winning. If you're super obese and you're getting these lifestyle diseases, that's the way to be. That's the goal for life, right? Which is insane because it's not healthy. So same idea. So then you take your secret goal, or your secret rule, and make it as crazy as possible in the opposite. So if waiting for Jacob to be on board or working with me on a project is winning, then that means that I only get, like an hour a week to do anything fun that is meaningful for me. And the rest of the time I have to be cooking, cleaning, barefoot in the kitchen, all that kind of stuff. And that's not true, right? So you can open your eyes and see how wrong really your belief is there. And then you can combat it. But the third column is who says. So who says? Who says that being skinny is slutty? Did someone make a comment about that as you were growing up? Who says that medicine is the only viable job? Well, my dad did. Is he always right about stuff? No. No. So do I have to follow his rules? No, I don't. Which is why I end up giving up that career path. And now I'm just a mom, and I do this for fun as a hobby because it helps me feel fulfilled. And I actually get a kickback on it too, so it's totally worthwhile. One of the limiting beliefs that I hear a lot from people in these groups, from women that I work with, from friends, is things like, if I take time to take care of myself, then I'm neglecting my kids. Okay, so let's flip it on its head. What does that actually mean? That means that you're only taking care of your kids properly if you're neglecting yourself. Is that true? No. And who says? Who says that neglecting yourself is the right way to parent? Where'd you get that from? I don't know who said it to you, but I used to believe it. I used to believe that if I wasn't spending every waking moment with my kids, that they would end up being bratty and or they get in big trouble, or things like that. Like they wouldn't learn how to make friends or learn how to get along. Who said that? Well, lots of like parenting resources actually say that. My sister would say that all the time, who's older than me and doesn't have as many kids as me, and her kids are younger. So if I say that to myself, I realize how backwards that is, and then I can replace it with something healthier, right? So a couple of years ago, right as I began coaching, right as I reclaimed my life, not like my whole life, but putting myself as making myself priority two, the replacement of that limiting belief is I'm a better mom if I take care of myself first. That doesn't mean neglecting my kids all day long and always ignoring them, but it means making sure that my needs are met before I meet theirs. And that sometimes means I have to get up extra early, or I have to stay up extra late, or I have to, work around their schedule. It's not just that I forget about them in order to take care of myself, but I know that if I am not taking care of myself, I am not a good mom. I get mean, I get angry, I get grumpy, I get depressed, I get like hide in my room, don't want to get out of bed kind of stuff. And that's not healthy. So I learned that if I put myself and my needs first, and I actually, learned what those couple of needs are, then I'm a better mom. And that's the truth. So then I feel good and I feel okay and I feel like I'm making progress when I actually do commit to and follow through my exercise every day. And you know what happened? Within a month, I lost 8 pounds. Within 2 or 3 months, I lost 30 pounds. And I have been happier and healthier and feeling better ever since. So that's the process for identifying, destroying, and replacing your secret rules or limiting beliefs or baggage. And I just want to close off with a quote and then your action items. So here's a quote straight from the book. Hal Elrod says, "Our heads are often not aware of our heart's secret rules, rules that perfectionism has etched into us. If we don't examine ourselves mindfully and gently, we may think that our failures to meet our goals are due to our laziness or bad strategy, when in reality, they are caused by the secret rules that make our finish impossible." No matter what your infrastructure is, no matter how good the program is, if your secret rules, if your limiting beliefs are keeping you from actually following through, if you're self-sabotaging because of something deep down that you believe, even though it's not right, you are never going to reach your goals. You're never going to finish. And you're always going to be either losing or losing. So if you're finding that your only options in your mind are to lose or to lose, and there's nothing in between, then you're being held back by your own wrong beliefs, and it's time to change them. So here are your action items. 1 is to listen for the secret rules that are in your own head. And this is an ongoing process, but I would like you to list at least 1 or 2 in the comments below. The second one is to write the truth or the nonsense, and who says. So that's this trifold thing, right? Step 3 is to create new rules to replace the old ones. And then step 4, that's where this group is so important. Enlist some friends to help you to see the secret rules that you're living with right now that maybe you're not seeing, or maybe to help you to flip them on their heads and help to replace with better rules, things like that. So, and listen for your secret rules. Do this trifold thing to compare and contrast. Write new rules to replace the old ones, and enlist some friends to help you along the way. I love you all. Happy Monday. I hope that you have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you soon.